Whoa, this is heavy.
There's that word again, heavy.
Welcome to another Starfield video, where I attempt, and I'm fairly certain I succeed, in building the heaviest ship possible in Starfield. Now, I didn't really do any prep beforehand, and thus, the process involved jumping around to several of the different ship manufacturers in search of the heaviest part variants. Starting with the cockpit, which at first I believed was the platypus cockpit, though this would change later. I then started to place down the engines, landing gear, grav drive, and reactor. The three things that determine if your ship is able to lift off are the lift from your landing gears, the thrust of your engines, and the strength of your grav drive. For the landing gear, one thrust is able to support 200 mass, so the best landing gears with a thrust of 4 are each able to support 800 mass. For the engines, you're limited to an amount that uses 12 reactor power, either 3 or 4 engines, with the max engine thrust being 106,560, and the max strength grav drive is 50 thrust. For the reactor, I just placed the heaviest one available, then I went and placed a wide variety of habs to create the core of the ship. With these in place, it was now time to start packing on the mass, and the most efficient way is with cargo modules, specifically the Galleon S-204, coming in at a mass of 312. I would periodically have to add more landing gear to match the increasing mass, as well as replacing the cockpit along the way with the heavier Stroud-Eklund one. I started building outwards around the habs, adding layers of cargo, until I encountered something I didn't consider: the module limit. In Starfield, there are a variety of limitations in the shipbuilder: length, width, height, mass, and the number of individual parts at about 130, which I ended up hitting. All those landing gear and cargo holds added up. I had to do a significant redesign to my ship, removing all the habs except the one that is required and completely changing the shape of the ship to a flat square that filled the entire X and Y plane of the build area. I finally was able to encounter the mass limit, which was surprisingly capped by the grav drive. I then dialed in the mass, adding the remaining systems, shields, weapons, fuel, until I wasn't able to add a single unit of mass more, as well as the max amount of ship parts. I did it, the heaviest ship in Starfield, at a whopping 25,277 mass. To my knowledge, you can't make a heavier ship in vanilla Starfield, and while not the maximum cargo possible, it's still impressive at over 111,000. Now it just needed a name, and considering it's a flat white square, I called it the Paper Aeroplane. And here it is, in all of its square white glory. It is massive. So massive that on several of the landing pads, it clips through the scenery. When it comes to flight, it performs like a box of bricks. With a mobility of 0, you're not turning on any kind of coin, let alone a dime. But it does have the armaments to defend itself. Let's take in the glory of this hunk of shit. It is massive, unwieldy, and a complete waste of space. But I love it. Overall, I'm happy with how this little experiment turned out. And while I believe I answered the question about what's the heaviest ship, let me know in the comments if you're able to get a heavier one. Please like and subscribe, as it really helps in the constant fight with the YouTube algorithm. Comment if there are any other things that I should try in Starfield. I also have an ongoing playthrough of Starfield on my channel that you can check out. Thanks for watching Burned Up Gaming.